a bit closer. More so that I can see you, not that you can see. And those who want to make notes, please help yourself to those little desks. I'm just going to go ahead and work on myself. I'm going to start الحمد لله الذي تلطف بعباده فتعبدهم بالنظافة والصلاة على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم المستغرق بنور الهدى أطراف العالم وأكنافه. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا تاويل واجعلنا من خير أمة سيدنا ومولانا محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وليائها وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك أرحم الراحمين. Amen. So I started by thanking Allah. Alhamdulillah الذي تلطف بعباده فتعبدهم بالنظافة. The topic today is the inner dimensions of Islamic purification. Tahara is a word which means purification, whether it is ritual or physical purification. So I start by thanking Allah, Alhamdulillah, who made purification a worship for us. Just mere purification is in itself a worship for us. And then by praising Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who spread the light of purification in the atraf al-alam, in the whole world. So the topic today is, we focus a lot in our daily lives on the fiqh of tahara, on doing wudu and on ghusl and what makes us pure, what makes us ready. But what we don't focus enough on is that every physical act in our religion has a deeper spiritual impact, not only just in our lives, but on our souls as well. So, can I just start from here and start from there?
I will do it from here, you do it from there.
Okay. So let's start where we should always start, with the Quran. And Allah says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, the verse 6, the 6th surah of the Quran, Al-Ma'idah verse 6. This is the main surah in which the faraid of wudu and tayammum were revealed. I will not give the asbab nuzul of this verse today because of time limitations, but Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. O people who believe, when you stand up for salah, إذا قمتم على الصلاة, when you stand up for salah, فاغسلوا وجوهكم, wash your face, وأيديكم إلى المرافق, your arms up to your elbows, وامسحوا برؤوسكم, wipe your forehead, وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين, and your feet up to your ankles. This verse then delineates for us the faraid of wudu, what is an absolute must because it is ordained by God in the Quran. The verse further carries on. I will come to the verse back again. إِذَا كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَطَهَّرُوا وَإِن كُنْتُمْ مَرْضَى, when you are ill or على سفر or upon a journey, or جَاءَ أَحَدُكُم مِّنكُم مِّنَ الْغَائِطِ, or you have returned from a call of nature. Ghaid is when you have returned from a call of nature. أو لمستم النساء, or you have had relations. فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً, and you do not find water. فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا, so do tayammum with clean earth. So as I go on to tayammum, I will explain all of this. When can you do tayammum? What can you do it with? What is the practical aspects of tayammum? Also, we will discuss today, the only fiqh I will discuss today is the fiqh of ghusl, tayammum, wiping on the footgear, just because I do not want to spend today on the fiqh of wudu. But I really want to spend time today, what is important is on the spiritual elements of wudu. So let's start, let's carry on. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Bunya ad-din ala nizafa. Bunya means the foundations of your religion are on cleanliness. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, Miftahu salah at-tahur. The key to salah is purification, and at-tahur nisful iman. Now, if cleanliness is half the religion, surely it is not just cleanliness of the body. This is what Imam Ghazali says in his, a lot of what I'm teaching today is from the book 3, Kitab Asrar al-Tahara of the Ihya Ulumuddin by Imam Ghazali. May God be pleased with him. So, he says that the Zu al-Basai, people who had deep insight, they knew when Rasulullah said that at-tahur nisful iman, what was exactly meant, which I will discuss with you. When this verse was revealed, the Sahaba looked to Rasulullah to see how this should be carried out. So the verse is very clear: wash your face, wash your head, wash your hands up to the elbow, feet up to the ankles. But how it was exactly done is Rasulullah himself taught the Sahaba. The Sahaba then taught the Tabi'in, the next generation. And hence it trickled down and it was written down. But what happened is not that they didn't understand the physical what is written. The little details got differed upon according to everybody's understanding of the verse. So fiqh, literal meaning of the word fiqh is understanding. Tafaqquhu fi din, understand your religion. Fiqh, now we use it as jurisprudence or the law of religion, but at the time, fiqh meant understanding. So, as the understanding of these verses changed, so did develop the four madhahib. So, just a little subtle difference to explain. When we do the mas of the head in the Hanafi fiqh, and I'll be teaching mostly Hanafi fiqh today just to make it clear. However, I will delineate the differences between the Hanafi and the Shafi fiqh. So in the Shafi fiqh, when you do the mas of the head, you do it 3 times. And their mas is done even if they do a little bit, just from the front. That's it, their mas is done. But they have to do it 3 times. We do it once, but we do it a quarter, rub'a ras. So that is just a subtle difference. Nobody's right and wrong. Allah says in the Quran, the fard is done with 1. The rest is sunnah, and there's a difference in opinion whether the sunnah was 1 or 3 for that. Such subtle differences, I'll just touch upon them. But so this is how so by the 3rd century, which is literally just 250 years after Rasulullah, the 4 madhahib had been established: the Shafi, the Hanbali, the Hanafi, and the Maliki. In them, there were subtle differences in the fiqh, which is only a little difference, and people focus too much on that. One shouldn't. One should focus on the spiritual elements of each action, as I will be detailing. So, when we started following these ablution rites, a rite is a religious act. I'll carry on using this word now, so just to explain. So, ablution is a rite that every Muslim practices at least 100,000 times or more in their life. So it is something we do all the time, every day. It was also this very rite according to which a lot of the Islamic civilizations were designed, shall I say. So for example, if you go to Spain, just in the early, I think in the 4th century in Cordoba, there were 700 mosques but 900 public baths, the hammams. The city was designed around hammams because you have to pray, so you have to clean yourself. You have to clean yourself, you have to have ghusl. So the hammams were designed, the cities were designed around this rite. Also clothing was designed around this rite. So the loose-fitting dress, initially it was always the izar and the rida, the long kameez, and the sunnah dress is the izar and the long kameez mostly, with loose-fitting sleeves so they could be rolled up for wudu. The headdress was for either men and women. It was always separate from the top that we wore. Why? So you could take it off for the mass of the head. The sleeves were always made loose. The dress was always the loose. Then it changed. It changed then to the long jababs that women and men in the Middle East, they wear the long dress. It was so that it could be pulled up, both for istinja when visiting the toilet, or for washing the feet, washing the legs if need be, washing the arms. So our dresses, our cities, everything was designed around this one act of wudu. Wudu really defines us. It defines us because it is illumination. What is wudu? Let me come to that. So basically, as we understand the physical act, it is very, very important to keep in mind what is happening behind. Remember, behind every dua that Rasulullah taught, the duas explain the deeper meaning of the physical act. So, let's cover that point, historical. The hammams, I'll touch quickly on the hammams. At the end, if I have time, I'll go over the etiquettes of the hammams. The hammams were so common in Muslim cities that Imam Ghazali has dedicated a whole chapter on the etiquettes of visiting the hammam. The development of the sauna, the steam room, and all of that, and the health benefits that now these modern spas sell. So they were developed by the Muslims. They were separate hammams, separate for men, separate for women, but to go in them there had to be an etiquette, a dress code. First of all, there was a dress code to go in them, to always cover your aura. We will discuss what is your aura. Secondly, what was the etiquette of do's and don'ts of these hammams? We are deriving so many health benefits from heat now, but this was developed by the Muslims. Two Sahaba, Sayyidina Abu Darda visited one in Damascus, and Sayyidina Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, he visited that in Istanbul. Most of us who have visited Sayyidina Abu Ayyub there as well. So he visited a hammam there. Sayyida Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha visited once when she was ill, completely covered, but to visit the heat of the hammam for an illness. So it is actually sunnah to visit a hammam for illness. So then we come back to that tahara is this is half of your iman. If tahara is half of your iman, it cannot be that Rasulullah meant that it is your physical cleanliness that is half of your iman. It was, if you think Imam Ghazali uses the word hayhata, he says it is absurd to think that it is your physical cleanliness only. So I would now, as Imam Ghazali details in his book, the levels of purification. The first, he says that purification is of various levels. And we get stuck, really stuck on the first level, which is the physical or the ritual purification. So, Imam Ghazali says, I'm going to walk up a bit. So Imam Ghazali says that the first station is Tathir Zahir. Tathir means the cleanliness of your Zahir and al-Ahdas wa Akhbas wal Fadalat. So, Ahdas is Hadas. Hadas is a ritual impurity. It is not a physical impurity. It is a ritual impurity. Ritual impurity in our religion means after you've had relations, when you finished haid, when you finished menstruation, when you finished postnatal bleeding, so or janaba. So after janaba, that is a ritual impurity. You may be clean. You may have gone and washed yourself. You may be clean, but there is a ritual impurity. And before we can worship, we have to get rid of it. Tathirul Zahir, Zahir is your exterior. Akhbas is from akhbas, which means a physical impurity. Physical impurities we all know. And fadalat. It is also part of our general cleanliness that we get rid of excess hair. We have to trim our nails. Men have to shave, we have to get rid of excess hair. So all of that is part of our tahara. And in our next sort of section, I may next week, we are doing the fiqh of menstruation, inshallah, next week. I wanted to cover some basics today so that especially the younger audience, the girls, are familiar with the basic fiqh of wudu, ghusl, and so that when I go on to the fiqh of menstruation, they know the basics. So they know what I'm talking about. That's just the first level. That's the first level of purity. Maratib is a level, it is a station. The second station, Imam Ghazali says, is Tathirul Jawarih, the cleanliness of your limbs, anil Jaraim wa Asam. Jaraim is everything that is forbidden by law, and Asam is sin. So you hold back. You hold back your tongue from hurting somebody. You hold back your hand from doing something wrong. You hold back your legs from traveling to something that you know is forbidden. Mostly for us, it applies now in interpersonal relationships. I discussed that before as well when we discussed the fiqh of fasting, is control yourself. That is purification. If you control your tongue, that's purification for you. If you control your hands, that's purification for you. Carrying on. The third one, تطهير القلب عن الأخلاق المذمومة ورذائل المقطوعة. So base, mamputa, cleaning your heart. So that's the third level, تطهير القلب, the cleaning of the heart from every immoral trait. This is hatred, this is envy, this is jealousy, this is lying. So all of these traits, if you stop yourself, you are actually purifying your soul, and this is considered part of worship. So that's the third level. And the final level is amma siwa Allah Ta'ala, which means that this is Tathir sirri amma siwa Allah, that in your heart you think, why was I created? What was the purpose that I'm here on earth? It is just to know Allah. That is the sole purpose of my creation. That is the reason I was made, is to get to know my Lord. And if that is all you think about when you do anything and everything, that is true purification. You get up, you go to work for Allah. You do something for your children for Allah. You literally work, sleep, every thought, every living thought in your heart. If your intention is just for Allah, that is the final stage. The Siddiqeen and the Anbiya were always in this state. We probably can push it and get to number 2. When pushing it, get to number 3. It takes a lifetime to get to number 4. To have a being where you're just walking, talking only to please Allah. So that's the final stage. But and just to again, the attitudes of the Salaf, the reason I want to say this is because I am going to embark now on a journey of talking about wudu and fiqh, and what breaks the wudu and what doesn't break the wudu, and how much najasa is najasa, and how much is this, and how much is allowed, and what is qadr dirham. Because I'm going to go into such petty detail. It shouldn't be called petty. That is what is written in the books of fiqh. And every book of fiqh starts with the first chapter, this thick, of Tahara. If anybody has read Nurul Allah or Maraki al-Falah, they know what I'm talking about. The first chapter will detail clean water, how many types of clean water, what will happen if the water is this much, how. So there's such detail that we literally miss the wood for the trees. What did the Sahaba do? The Sahaba were living in a, let's say that it was a community, where there were animals living with them. There were dogs roaming on the streets. The streets were made out of mud. Yes, mud. When it would rain, it would be mud. There is no concrete, there are no roads. There were cats, dogs roaming the streets. There was cattle, there were goats, cows, donkeys, camels, horses in every household. With every animal comes its dung. So there was dung always on the floor. Yes? Other than that, so this is the journey that they will have to make to reach the mosque. In the mosque, the floor was made out of earth. There was no carpets there. So initially the prayers were said with shoes on. Yes? Before the carpets came. I am talking in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray with his shoes on, and once there was najasa on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's blessed shoe, and Sayyidina Jibreel came down and told Rasulullah, so during the prayer, Rasulullah took his shoe off. Seeing that Rasulullah has taken his shoe off, the Sahaba took their shoes off, and after the Salah, Rasulullah turned around and said to the Sahaba, what are you doing? I had najasa on my shoes. What's wrong with you? Why did you take your shoes off? Such that even up to Sayyidina Ibrahim al-Nakhi, which is going down 4 generations, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Masud, then we have Al-Qama, then we have Ibrahim al-Nakhi. So 3rd generation down, when Sayyidina Ibrahim al-Nakhi, who is one of our teachers of Imam Abu Hanifa, there was Hamad, and then Sayyidina Imam Abu Hanifa, may Allah be pleased with them all. When he saw people taking shoes off when they were going into the mosque, he used to say, this is a bid'ah. This is a bid'ah. Bid'ah means something strange. We don't see that. Sayyidina Abu Huraira, when he used to teach, he would say that when we would eat something greasy, we didn't have napkins. When we would eat grilled meat and we had grease on our hands, we would just rub it on the floor and done. Sayyidina Umar, he used to say that we didn't have napkins in those days. The arches of our feet were our napkins. We would eat, rub our hands with the arches of our feet or the soles of our shoes. That was our ushnan. Ushnan was the earliest soap that was developed. They used to take potash, make alcohol out of it. It is still the very ingredient of soaps these days. So he used to say, we never had this stuff. The reason I'm going off on a tangent here and discussing what the Sahaba did is that personally I see a lot of OCD about wudu and tahara in our communities. We forget, oh, you are not clean, you can't have this is not clean, you've got this much height, you've got this. The most questions I get from women are about tahara. Not about salah, not about khushu, not about the focus that they should have. It's always about tahara. We do not go past that chapter. I think the teachers stopped teaching past that chapter. So hence the reason I'm going off on a tangent here, not to put you off tahara. You can't go to the 4th stage if you haven't climbed the first rung of the ladder. Remember that. That's your first stage. The Sahaba had perfected that. But they were not concerned about it. They never once was a question asked, is this clean or unclean? What is najasa? What is the classification of najasa? What is hadas? What is khubas? What is najas? Never once did any of the Sahaba ask this question. They knew it. It was just practical day-to-day life thing. Move on. Come to where you're going to find God. first you're here. So yeah, let's now actually move on to what I'm telling you is not important. So, Tahara is then, so we're just going to go into the fiqh of it. Are you all with me, ladies? We'll have some time in the end for questions. Yeah? So, Tahara is achieved either by clean water. Clean water is called al-ma'ul mutlaq. Or it is achieved by clean earth. Sa'idan tayyiban, as written in the verse we saw earlier in the Quran. So two things can achieve cleanliness. Then this in itself should tell you something about Tahara. Ma'ul mutlaq, I understand, you washed, you clean. What about clean earth? You're putting dust on your face and hands and you're clean. What does that show you? It shows you that Allah does not intend hardship for you. Allah does not want you in any kind of difficulty. He wants ease for you. All He wants you is to worship Him so that He can complete the verse. We'll go back to the verse. In fact, let me quickly go back to that. Look at the last line. مَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيَجْعَلَ عَلَيْكُم مِّنْ حَرَجٍ وَلَكِنْ يُرِيدُ لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ وَلِيُتِمَّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. So, وَمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ, Allah does not will upon you haraj, any kind of difficulty, وَلَكِنْ, but Allah wills that you purify yourself, وَلِيُتِمَّ, so He can complete His ni'mah, His blessings on you. عَلَيْكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, perhaps you will become thankful. Like, look, you can pray. There is never a hindrance between you and your Lord. There is never a gap between you and your Lord. You just have to be thankful. So let's come back. Then, three things need to be purified before you can perform ritual prayer, basically salah. Ritual prayer in Islam. I'm going a lot into English because I have some sisters who don't understand the Arabic wording, so I'm going to go into both. Salah is ritual prayer. So, three things need to be clean. Your body needs to be clean, your clothes need to be clean, and the place of prayer needs to be clean. Three things. We'll discuss a bit about the body. The body has to be cleansed if you're not in major ritual impurity, just by wudu. If you're in major ritual impurity, by ghusl. And if you cannot find water, both wudu and you can get out of major ritual impurity also just with tayammum. Okay? So that's your sort of basic classification. Then we discuss, so now we're talking about the body. The body can be cleaned by ma'ul mutlaq. I discussed that. So ma'ul mutlaq, or anything that you clean your body with, is called wudu. So difference between wudu and wadu, there is a fatha on the waw, the same thing. So I just go into a bit of linguistics now. So have a look. This is water, wadu. Anything that you can do, you can clean yourself with, and there are 7 varieties of that I'm going to detail what is wadu. Then we have wudu. I don't think you can see that very well. Yeah. So, okay, so that is wudu. Wudu is the ritual act of purification. In this world, the ritual act involves washing, and how it is defined in books is the elevation of the limbs in this world. But the wudu in the hereafter is illumination. Because every limb that you wash with the wudu, there will be a light coming out of it on the day of judgment. That is why Rasulullah said, extend your wudu. So extend the water. So you don't stop to the elbows, go further. Don't stop at the ankles, go further. If you go further, because the further you go, the more light will come out of you on the day of judgment from those limbs. So that is wudu. However, look at the root word here. The root word here, as I said, is daw. Though, here the Arabs sitting here know exactly what a daw means. Daw is light. Daw is light. A diya is light. We have a very common name in the Pakistani culture, Diya-ul Haq, you know, Diya-e-Madina. It is Ziya, we call it Ziya, you know, Ziya-ul Haq or Ziya-e-Madina. Ziya is basically a daw, and it is Diya, and daw is light. Hence, daw is the root for both wudu and wadu. Because remember, the root is about not just purification, it is about elimination. So, types of water, there are 7 types of water that you can do wudu with. We really are not that worried about it. You open the tap, water comes out. But let's say you're on a hike, yeah? You've gone to, not Snowdon, Snowdon's very well equipped and we take a lot of stuff to it, but you're climbing Ben Lomond as I did once and God help me. Or you're in one of the, you know, Monroes in Scotland, and you just need to know, you've only got enough water with you to drink, but there is enough water there, so you need to know roughly what kind of water can you do wudu with, yeah, and what's available. So first of all, you can do wudu with, so rainwater, because Allah says in the Quran, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً طَهُورًا. So rainwater, if it is collected anywhere in a puddle, and it is clean, you can do wudu with it, okay? The second is ocean water. Very common misconception. You're on the beach, you're on the seaside. People never do wudu with ocean water. It's nasty to do the mouth part, but you know what? The mouth part is not far, it is sunnah. And you have no other water, do it. Skip the deep gargling bit. Just put it a little bit in your mouth and get on with it. It is allowed to do. Why? Because Rasulullah said that the ocean, its water is pure and its dead is halal. So that's why you eat fish, you know. The dead of the ocean is halal and the water of it is pure. So that's from the hadith we take it, okay. The third is rivers. We know running water, it's fine as long as it is running and the river has not changed taste, smell or color, that it's running water, all good. Wells, all good, we know. Spring water, all good. Melted hail and snow. Melted hail and snow will hardly affect it, but if you're stuck in a log cabin somewhere, you've gone on some trip and you've snowed in, just use the snow, rub it on your body, you're good. Okay? That's just very basics. There were 2 rivers, there are 4 rivers that Rasulullah said are actually the rivers of Jannah. The Furat, the Euphrates, and the Nile. And Jehun and Sehun, they dried up those 2, so that we don't really know which ones they are. Then let's go to, if we are on a mountainside, and we don't find any of this, but what we do see is a pond. And we see the pond, what is the ruling for that? So bear this in mind nowadays, because if not us, but our children will go on a lot of hikes. Yeah, a stationary bit of water is either a large body of water or a small body of water. If it is more than 10 by 10 arm lengths, zira is the measurement in the Islamic, fiqh. But I think zira, I measured a zira, which is from the tip of your fingers here to your elbow. It is roughly just over a foot. So a foot is about 12 inches, which is about here. So this is, so 10 zira by 10 zira. So I would say just over 10 foot by 10 foot square. If the water is that much or less, it is called a small body of water. If you see a small body of water and its color, taste and smell looks clean, and you cannot see any najasa in it, which means dung of animal or proper najasa, you can do wudu with it. Okay, it's only a small body of water, but if it looks clean, it's fine. A large body of water is anything over that, and also when you dip your hand in it, your hand doesn't touch the mud. So if you go like that, and you dip in it, the mud doesn't get disturbed from it, and it doesn't muddy that area. So that's a large body of water. A large body of water is okay. Even if you see a bit of najasa in the corner for it, some animal has come and there's a bit of animal dung and this and that, no problem, you can do wudu with it. Such is the leniency. Okay, such is the leniency. So that's a bit of sort of, the rules of stationary water. Did you all understand that? Yeah, that was fairly simple. 10 by 10. Just remember 10 by 10, and we move on. Then, now istinja. You all know istinja? I hope so. Alhamdulillah. Yes. Istinja is cleaning yourself after you have come from the ghaib. Ghaib is your Baytul Khala. Baytul Khala is the Arabic word for the toilet. Bayt means house, al Khala is where you exit things. So things exit your body there. To clean is a sunnah mu'akkada. Now listen to this please ladies. It's a sunnah mu'akkada if the shall I say the filthy part has just left the orifice and it has not touched your body. Okay, it's a sunnah mu'akkada. You can either wipe or wash, or you can do both. You're okay. Okay, so water is not a necessity as long as it has not touched other than the orifice. Now for women, when we go for urination, it's very difficult because of our anatomy. It's very difficult. There will be something that will touch somewhere, so we end up having to use water. But if it hasn't touched other than the orifice, if urine has not touched, I'm going to use clear words here now. If urine has exited but has not touched any other part of your body other than the orifice of the urethra, which is literally just the opening, then you can wipe, or you can wash, or you can do both. Everything is sunnah. The Sahaba only used to use stones. Okay? They were advised to use 3 stones in odd numbers. Okay? In odd numbers. Safe is when you go for defecation. If it has not touched anything but the orifice, you can wipe, wash. We have no excuse, come on. We have water everywhere. We have toilet paper. We have every facility on earth. But I am giving you absolute must so that you don't stop yourself from praying. Oh, I'm not clean, I can't pray. You can pray. So that's if it has not. So that's sunnah mu'akkada. Number 2, wajib. What makes anything wajib? Now, if any bit of the filth has touched a part of your body other than the orifice itself, and it is qadr dirham. Now, qadr dirham, a dirham in those days was I would say the size of the palm of your hand. Okay, this much. This much of the palm of your hand. If this much or less has touched the rest of your body, you have to wash it. That's wajib for you to wash. If what has touched your body is more than this much of the palm of your hand, then it is fard. You have to wash it. There is no wiping left now. You have to wash if it has touched your thighs, your legs, anywhere else. So that you have to wash. That is istinja, and that's the rule. So what is sunnah mu'akkada, what is wajib, and what is fard. Okay? It's only if it has touched somewhere else. Okay? So now the important part which I want to focus on. So as you know, there's the du'as that we are all taught as children. This is a dua, and unfortunately I looked everywhere. I also looked in the 6 Sahih books that we have. The translation is very mixed. It is translated as, "Oh Allah, I seek your protection from the male and the female jinn." And that scares the life out of everybody. There are jinns in the toilet, you know. Let me just explain to you the toilets. When I'm in 1 hour, prompt me because it must change. So when we get very hooked up on this business of the jinns in the toilet, yes? So let's clear some misconceptions here. Okay. In the olden days, when there were no toilets within the premises, people used to go out, and there were Baytul Khalas, where you would just do your business, and there was always fecal matter there. It was not buried, there was no gutters, there was no flush system, there was no toilets, there was nothing, it was just fecal matter. So when you would go to such places out of the cities, out of your living area, when you would travel to go and do that, the jinns, it used to be, because that's fodder for them. Our excrement is food for our brothers of the jinn. Hadith, yes? So, they would be there, so you would go in saying that. However, there is deep wisdom in the words that Rasulullah used. Let's focus on context to us, modern context. How does it apply to us now? Khubaz and khabais, beautiful words. That, look, khabas first one. So I'll go over, so the second one, khaba'is. So the singular is khabas, yes? Khabas is basically refuse in najasa. Now look at what we are doing before we are entering the Baitul Khala or the toilet. Nowadays our toilets in our bathroom, everything gets flushed off, so there is no fecal matter there, everything is clean, yes? There are no jinns, please. There are no jinns sitting there by your toilet, okay? So please don't, especially children, think about it. Khabas is something that is bad, and khubas, the translation for khubas, the first word is anything malignant, anything toxic, anything that can cause you harm. One translation of it is jinns, because they can cause you harm. Only one translation, okay? So the majority of the translation is anything malignant, anything toxic. Now let's look at our body first. So our blood has all our diseases, it has all our germs, it has all our viruses, bacteria, everything when we get a disease. It also has the end product of our digestive system, especially the ammonia and all of that we need to get rid of. And our kidneys are working ever so hard for filtration to get rid of all that toxins from our blood. Yes, the same is with our digestive tract. Our digestive tract is keeping what is bad within it, and the blood absorbs all that is good in it. Yes? So all that is bad in our body that can cause us illness, that can cause us harm. Our body produces malignant cancer cells every day. Our own immune system gets rid of it. When it gets rid of it, who gets rid of it for us? Our kidneys and our digestive system. So when we're entering the toilet, if you just focus on that, focus, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika, oh Allah, I ask your protection from everything malignant that is in my body, from everything toxic in my body, from all the illness in my body. Because the only way I will get rid of this illness is either I will pee it out, I will poo it out, or I will sweat it out. That's the only way I can get rid of it, and I seek your help for it. Before entering your toilet, this should be your intention in your head. That this is what I want. This is what I want. So your daily routine of visiting the toilet or before you enter will become worship. This is the focus that you need to have in your lives. The second, you've done your business, you're coming out. Ghufranaka was, may Allah forgive you, that was for the jinns in the outskirts. Instead of us saying Ghufranaka, we don't want anybody in the toilet to be forgiven. For Ghufranaka, may Allah forgive you. That's Ghufranaka means you. May God forgive you. But we don't use the word Allah because the aura is uncovered. That is, Ghufranaka is within the toilet. But when you exit the toilet, you exited the toilet, you will say, Alhamdulillahi alladhi azhaba anni adha wa afani. Praise be to God. Alladhi, the one, azhaba, who took away anni, from me, adha, all hurt and all harm. Yes? Wa afani, and he forgave. So please focus on these things as you're entering and exiting the toilet. Don't focus on any jinns in there. Okay? So that's one thing. Let's now move on to wudu. Yeah, okay. Wudu is, we know the verse in the Quran describing the faraid of wudu. But rather than focusing today on, because if I start teaching wudu, I will at least need 5-6 hours, because just what breaks the wudu in my fiqh book, there are 78 things, and there are 48 things that make it, partially valid, and there are 101 things that you can do wrong when doing wudu. I'm not going to focus on any of that. We're going to talk about what really matters. Rasulullah said that when somebody does wudu, he should keep in mind, this is the hadith, and instead of reading, I will just read, إِذَا تَوَدَّأَ الْعَبْدُ. So this is narrated from Sayyidina Abu Hurairah and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala, إِذَا تَوَدَّأَ الْعَبْدُ. So when the servant of Allah does wudu, and is Muslim, فَغَسَلَ وَجْهُ. So when he washes his face, in fact, let's start from the beginning. When you wash your hands, sins start falling off you. And as you wash your face, the sins fall off it until they fall from your eyes, and all the transgressions of the eyes. Until then, they fall from it. So between two wudus, whatever transgressions, and we do a lot of transgressions with our eyes, we don't even know we are doing it. The aura for everybody is between navel and knees. We are living in the West. How much transgression do we do even watching a game of football, or even doing this, or even walking around on the streets? We can't help it. We can't help it. But how Rahim is our Lord. How Rahim is Allah. That just by doing wudu, those sins falling off us. They are falling off us. Yeah? But you bear that in mind. So as you wash your face, the sins fall from your eyes. Then, as you wash your nose and the mouth, the sins fall from it. As you wash your hands, the sins fall from it until when you put your hand down and the water drips from your nails, that's where the sins are coming out of. When you wash your head, the sins fall off it until they come out of your ears. I'm just giving you the translation of this hadith now. When you wash your feet, the sins fall off it until they drop from your fingernails. It is because of this hadith that it's a very cultural thing. It's a very cultural thing in the subcontinent, in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all of that, is that ladies try not to dry themselves after a wudu, just because they want those droplets to keep dropping until they go to the, sajjada, the janamas, what we call. So they just want the sins to be falling. It doesn't have to be that literal, because it needs a puddle all the way, especially in this world all the way, but that is the basis. That's why they do it. So let's sort of go back on. Okay. The difference between washing and wiping. Okay, let's go do a bit of fiqh then. Let's do a bit of fiqh. So, the reason I want to do a bit of fiqh of wudu is when we go to tayammum, and I'm going to show you how to do tayammum, is just so that you know what is the minimum requirement for wudu. The minimum requirement for wudu is, we've already discussed, wash your face, wash your arm up to the elbow, wipe your head, wash your feet up to the ankles. That's the minimum for the wudu. And what is washing? Washing means you have enough water that 2 drops of water trickle down. So, as long as 2 drops of water have trickled down every of this fard part of your body, your wudu is done. Okay, that's your minimum wudu. The rest is beautiful sunnahs. And we do everything for the love of sunnah. I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm saying this is your minimum wudu, just so that when we can come to tayammum, we know what is the minimum wudu. 2 drops of water have to leave the limb for the wudu to be valid. 2 drops, that's it, not more. That's the pillar of your wudu. Let's go to that. So, washing versus wiping. Then, the merits. So, Rasulullah showed the Sahaba how to do wudu. The proper sunnah wudu, he physically demonstrated it to Sahaba. Rasulullah did the wudu once. The whole sunnah wudu that we do with the hands, the mouth, the nose, the ears, wiping the neck, all of that once. He then turned around to the Sahaba and he said, this is your wudu without which Allah will not accept your salah. So that means washing once is fard. And of course those 4 elements, that's why I told what is the minimum fard. Yes? Then Rasulullah did it again. So every limb he washed 1 more time. That means that's 2 times now. So washing twice, he said that this is you will get double the reward. And then he did it 3 times. And then after he's done it 3 times, he said, this is my wudu. This is also the wudu of the Anbiya and of Ibrahim Khalilullah and of Sayyidina Ibrahim, the friend of God. May Allah be pleased with them all. And Rasulullah then advised the Sahaba to extend, like I said, extend the water to also rub a little bit, which we call dalat. And Rasulullah would always do it in a routine, however he never specified. Because Rasulullah never specified that a tartib, we call it in Arabic. Tartib means all his hands first, and the mouth, and the nose, and this, and that. So because Rasulullah didn't say it, but he did it, the Sahaba have written it down, but it doesn't mean that if you don't follow tartib, your wudu is not done. That's not the fard of wudu. Even if you don't follow tartib, your wudu is done, but it is the sunnah way to do it properly. The second thing is, now I'm going to go over, Rasulullah said that if you are doing wudu and in each part of your limb you are not remembering God, you will be ready for prayer, but you're not truly purified. Your soul is not truly purified. So focus. And you can also do wudu upon wudu. So your wudu has not broken, and you still go and do more wudu, that is called light upon light. That's what how Rasulullah described it, light upon light. And then somebody who stays in wudu all day is similar to somebody who is fasting. So that's how easy it is for us. We get the reward of fasting if we stay in wudu all day. So now I'm just going to demonstrate literally how we need to focus. How we need to focus when we are doing wudu. So as you start, you say Bismillahil Azim. This is the way Rasulullah started. Bismillahil Azim. Walhamdulillahi ala deen al-Islam. I praise God in the majestic, and I thank God for this religion of Islam. Then you wash your hands 3 times. You wash your hands 3 times, and after that it is always the sunnah to do miswak. Okay? Another little point, Rasulullah said, لَوْ لَنْ أَشُكَّ عَلَىٰ أُمَّتِي لِأَمَرْتُهُمْ بِالسِّوَاكِ. These are the words of Rasulullah, that if I did not know that it would be difficult for my ummah, I would have made siwak an obligation. Me personally, I wish he had made it an obligation. Because now, 1400 years later, we find out the extreme benefit of cleaning our teeth. If we would do it 5 times, there is a direct correlation now. I just attended a periodontology conference just in March this year. And there's a direct correlation between all inflammatory diseases of the body and gum disease. That includes ulcerative colitis, that includes Crohn's disease, that includes heart diseases, that includes disease of the liver, the kidney. All inflammatory diseases have a direct correlation with the inflammatory stuff produced in your gums. Imagine the hikmah of Rasulullah when he said, I wish I could make it fard on you to do siwak. So now what is our modern siwak? Our modern siwak is our toothbrush. Okay? We don't have to go and get a siwak stick. Look, it is symbolic. Whatever you can get. The siwak was not just one thing then. Sahaba used to use their fingers. Sometimes just their fingers to rub their teeth. But they used to do it. We all have a toothbrush on our sink. We always have it. Don't have to put toothpaste on it if you cannot be bothered. Use toothpaste, I would love that. But if you don't want to use the toothpaste, please use your brush. So you are just starting. You have washed your hands. You will now do that. As you will do your mouth, the thought in your head is, as I am rinsing and spitting once, my sins have fallen out once. And you will say, Allahumma, we start by Aini ala tilawati al-Qur'ani wa dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadati. So this is the prayer that you will say, Oh Allah, please help me to recite your Quran, wa zikrika, and to do your zikr, and to thank you, and to worship you beautifully. That's what you will say as you're washing. I'm going to give you these du'as later. So I can take pictures of that and put it on the WhatsApp group, so you will all have these du'as. If you want to know where they are from, Ascent to Felicity, most of you have seen it. At the end of the book, all the du'as, sunnah du'as are written there. If you don't have that, Imam Nawawi's book of Kitab al-Azkar has all these du'as in it. But I'm going to give you the English of it and just demonstrate it. So you do not remember the Arabic, don't worry about it. Say it in English. Say it in whatever language you want to say it. But mean it from here. The dua is from here, really. Yeah? So, as you're washing your mouth, in your head, you know the sins are falling off your mouth. You do it 3 times, that's enough times. Once, you do the dua. The second and the third time, in your head, you know that the sins are falling off your mouth, because Rasulullah has told us. Keep the hadith in your mind. Then, you wash your nose. The first time, you say, Bismillah, Allahumma arihni rahihat al-jannah, wa la turihni ra'ihat al-nar. Oh Allah, let me smell the beautiful fragrance of Jannah, and let me never smell not the fragrance, but the smell of hellfire. As you're saying that, this is on your lips, but in your mind you know that as you're washing once, as you wash twice, the sins are falling off your nose. Then, you wash our face. Then you say, Allah, Bismillah, Allahumma bayyad wajhi. Oh Allah, whiten my face. Yawma تَبْيَضُّ وُجُوهًا وَيَوْمَ تَسْوَدُّ وُجُوهًا. On that day, oh Allah, illuminate my face on that day, on the day when some faces will be illuminated and some faces will be blackened. So that is the dua that you have in your mind. As you wash your face, focus and concentrate that not only is the water on my face, but the sins are dropping from my eyes now. And think of all the transgressions that you have done between your last wudu and this wudu, and think of them falling off. Ladies, I'm telling you, this is a lot of detail. This is a lot of detail, and we do wudu 5 times a day, and we do it in a rush. We will not be able to do this every time, but if you can do one wudu like this every day, trust me, your focus in your salah, your focus in your wudu will completely transform, completely change how we do things. Then, we are now washing, so we washed our face. Then we are going on to basically our right arm, and we say, Bismillah, Ya Rab, a'tini kitabi biyamini, wa hasibni hisabi yasira. Oh Allah, on that day, on that awesome, mighty day, on the day of judgment, give my book in my right hand, and make my hisab yasira. Hisab, hasibni yasira, which means make my hisab easy for me on that day. As you're saying that with your mouth, you're doing a dua, but you're also focusing that the sins are dropping off. The sins are dropping off. You do that 3 times. When you do your left hand, you say Bismillah. Allahumma la tu'tini kitabi bi shamali wa ma min wara'a zahri. So, oh Allah, let me not ever have my book in my left hand and never from behind me. Because this is Surah Inshiqaq, so verse 7 and verse 10, we all know that those who will not do so well on that day, they will be given their book of deeds in their left hand or from behind them. So let us not be amongst those who will be given their book in their left hand or from behind them. Then we carry on and we go Bismillah, we are wiping head. Okay, just a quick. So for the Hanafis, we have to wipe minimum quarter of the head. That is minimum. For the Shafi'is, they have to wipe even from the headscarf. They can go in and just do that, and their wiping is done. But they do it 3 times. We do it once. Rub' aras means quarter of the head. The Malikis, when they wipe for women. Of course, I'm telling for the women, yeah. So even if you've got like a ponytail this long, you wipe all the way, all the hair, and then all the way back and all the hair again. So it's a bit difficult. So we're all right. We're halfway. We're not as simple and we're not as strict. So quarter head done. And sometimes you're in a like for myself, I'm sometimes in a service station in a public on the motorway, and I have my clothes on, so I don't have worry so much about my feet washing. But I still put my hand in, and I just do that. Once done, okay, wudu done. Sometimes these are practicalities, you know, we have to be practical. Where was I? So we've done the head. Oh, okay. Allahumma azillani tahta zilla arshika. وَمَا زِلَّ إِلَّا ذِلُّ أَرْشِكَ. Oh Allah, on that day, let me be under the shade of your throne. Oh Allah, let me not, on the shade, other than that shade, there will be no shade. So that's the literal translation. So just praying to Allah, because those who will be in that under that shade of the throne on that day, they will be the lucky ones. Allah will shade us on the day of judgment, insha'Allah, from that heat, from that terror, from that terrible things that will be happening. But if you will be under that shade, you're safe. So that's what we're praying all the time. Then, if we're wiping our ears, Bismillah, Allahumma ja'alni min alladhina yastami'una al-qawla fayattabi'una hasana. Oh Allah, let me listen to all that is good and let me follow it and obey it. This is very important, especially when we're coming to places like this. Let us listen and obey, and let us listen and try and follow what is good. That includes myself. Then as you wipe your neck, you say, Allahumma raqabati min an-nar. Oh Allah, free my neck from hellfire. Oh Allah, free my neck from hellfire. So that's what you're praying. And then we of course come on to feet. Allahumma. So as you're washing your feet, I will just say that I know the ankle stops here, but it is always sunnah to go up to sort of here. So go slightly up, halfway between the knee and the ankle. That is the sunnah wudu. So you can, if you're somewhere, if you're out and about, wear your hooks, which I will show you, when you don't need to wash your feet either. You know? Allahumma thabbit qadami ala sirat يَوْمَ تُزِلُّ الْأَقْدَامِ. Oh Allah, make my feet steadfast on the sirat. This will make you focus on the sirat. Remember, on the sirat, not only will you fall yourself, there will be people pulling you down. And there will be stations, and at every station, if you don't pass that station, it will be like an examination station, you will fall. And the last station on the sirat is human station. That if you wrong somebody, or if somebody has a grievance against you, anybody, you cannot pass. And as you're falling on the sirat, people can save you. So keep good company. It is that good company that will save you on that day of the sirat, but pray for that. Every time you're doing wudu, pray for that. When you wash your feet, pray for that. And the last one is Bismillah Allahumma ja'alni zambi maghfuran wa sha'ni masturan wa tijarati lan tabura, which means, oh Allah, make me thankful, make my trade successful, and help me in all matters. In all matters. So that is sort of, culmination. Once you finish the wudu, all of these du'as, ladies, just to reiterate again, ladies in the back, please listen. So, all of these du'as are ma'thur du'as. Doesn't mean they are directly from hadith, okay? They are some from the hadith, some from Sahaba. That is why they are called ma'thur du'as. They are from the asar of the Sahaba. They are taught to us by the Sahaba. Rasulullah, however, made it clear that he wants us to read the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Raise your right finger, face the Qibla, point it and say it. Then at the end, then Allahumma ja'alni min al-tawwabin wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. That is again a ma'thur dua from the Quran. Now, questions that can be asked, very common questions that always are. In fact, I asked my own teacher. I asked Rasin. And I said, okay, what about najasa in the toilet and we cannot read Quran in the toilet? First question. Second question, we're all covered. What are we supposed to read and not read? Answers. If you have finished your business in the toilet, because now our sinks are in the same place as our toilets are. Yes? You have flushed it and you have cleaned it. And you can see that there is no najasa, so clean up after yourselves, ladies. Clean your commode after yourselves. Okay? Make sure there is no najasa left in it. Then there is no najasa. The najasa is gone. Okay? So there is no najasa in the room now. Okay? And you cleaned yourself, so there is no najasa on you. Read your du'as. Aura. What is an aura for a woman? Question. One of the younger ones. Yes. Oh, shabash. Well done. Shabash means well done. Yeah. So navel to knees. If you're in the washroom, and from your navel, including both extremities are inclusive, up to your knee is your aura. This is your minimum aura. Is covered, read as many du'as as you want. Okay? No problem. But if your aura is uncovered, you can say your dua in your head, but not utter it from your mouth. Your tongue shouldn't move. Okay? This is sometimes, purposeful. We have undressed, and you want to do the wudu first. Say the du'as in your here, not here. But you can say it here with your tongue movement and your sound if your aura is covered. Okay? Navel to knees is your aura. Other than that, that's it. So, let's move on. What are the actions disliked during wudu? To use too little water and too much water. Disliked. Very difficult these days. You open the tap and it just starts running, doesn't it? That is wastage. You can't help it. That's the nature of the society, and that's the nature of how we live, We can turn the tap quite low and do it. But still, Rasulullah used to do wudu with one mud. One mud is, what those paper cups, small, this much. That's it. That was the amount of wudu water. We waste far too much water by that. It is also disliked to do the Maliki wudu in the Hanafi faith. The Maliki wudu is that they literally put 2 drops of water and they rub everything. And then you have seen on YouTube videos, there's a sheikh, beautiful, lovely sheikh, but then he's showing how to do wudu. But that's the Maliki wudu. It's frowned upon in the Hanafi faith. Don't use too little water, don't use too much water. Okay? Then we go before that. Talking, so focus on the du'as, don't do worldly talks. When you enter, always do after wudu, always exit with your right foot. When you're entering, always with the left foot. These are basic sort of, things. Let me just go over Yeah, and don't slap the face with the water, because the face is a respected place on your body. Never slap your face with the water. And in the Hanafi fiqh, I went over it, that in the Shafi fiqh it's a must to wipe 3 times. In the Hanafi fiqh it's frowned upon, because we then think, oh, that's equivalent to washing, so we don't do it 3 times, but it doesn't matter. All 4 madhabs we follow, it really doesn't matter. Okay. So let's come to practicalities. We have half an hour? Yeah.
You went to Azan.
Okay. Alhamdulillah.
You've got it's 9 something.
Oh, good. Alhamdulillah. Very good. Any questions about wudu, ladies? Or we can ask at the end. Are you alright with that? So we carry on, cover a bit more? Yeah? Yes?
So when you're having a shower, can you not make your wudu then?
Let's talk about it. I'm going to ghusl. Next slide. Okay. Good question, Hasina. So, when is it obligated for women to have ghusl? Now, ghusl is not your average shower bath to, freshen up and stuff. A ghusl is a ritual purification that women have to do, men have to do for other reasons as well, and women have to do for after relations. Yes? If they've had a wet dream and they've seen the wetness, mostly it's haid and nifas for us. Yes? After haid, after the end of menstrual bleeding, and after the end of postnatal bleeding. Once your menstruation has ended, so that's the obligation, and we have to do ghusl. Because in order to ritually purify our bodies, we may have washed ourselves, we may have no blood on us, but we still have to have that ritual bath. That is the only time the bath is obligated on us. Okay, mostly for us it's menstruation and relations. So, because Allah says, going back to the same verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah, فَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَطَهَّرُوا, and then there's the verse 2 to 2 of Surah Al-Baqarah, in which the haid one is detailed, but I will discuss that next week with you in more detail. So, for us, what is the fard of our ghusl? The fard of our, I'm just going to tell you the fard, and we're going to talk about the etiquettes and the sunnah. So the fard of our ghusl is to wash accessible orifices once, and the whole body externally once with water, such that water touches all the body. Now, explaining that, you have to wash your mouth once. This is minimum fard. You have to wash your nose once. This is minimum fard. You have to wash, if you have, if you are a little bit big and you have folds and creases, so your navel, inside your navel. Also, if you are wearing earrings, so you either move the earrings so that part is washed as well. This is just once. These are just the etiquettes. Of course, loose ring, you move it so that the water goes in there. And if you're wearing any watches or stuff, you remove them. So that's the minimum. That's the minimum of your ghusl. Now let's go into the whole etiquette of it. The whole etiquette of ghusl. So these are, and another question is that Sayyidah Salama radiyallahu ta'ala anha asked Rasulullah that when I am doing ghusl, she was asking after janaba, she said, when I am doing ghusl, I am a lady who wears my hair in very tight braids. Rasulullah said to her, you can do your ghusl without opening your braids as long as the water reaches the roots, is in brackets, the fuqaha have added that. This verse didn't add that. So, I'm talking mostly for my sisters of the Afro-Caribbean origin. They sometimes wear their hair in very tight braids. They are not supposed to open it. It's undue haraj for them, isn't it, to open their braids every time. Whereas most of us, we can open our braids, especially, the Asian hair, or the Caucasian hair, shall I say. We can open it. It is no haraj for us. So it depends on the haraj here. Yeah? Is it difficult or is it easy for you? So that's the minimum requirements. Then let's now go on to the complete routine about the ghusl. First is intention. Intention is in the heart. The intention was, I didn't mention so much in wudu because that is not a fard, but for ghusl it is. because you are intending to now purify yourself after haid or after janaba or after something to go and pray. So you make the intention in your heart. Then the first thing is you do your istinja. You wash your private parts, making sure there is no najasa there. Done that, then if your aura is covered, do the proper wudu, the complete wudu. However, most of us, what we do is we get in the shower and we do our quick wudu there, which is fine. Do your wudu first. If you've forgotten to do your wudu and you've straight jumped into the shower, that's okay as well, as long as you have washed your mouth, washed your nose, washed your nail, moved your earrings around, moved your ring around if you're wearing a ring, and of course any bangles or something, so that the water touches everywhere once. The etiquette, however, is to do the wudu first, complete wudu with the niyyah and everything, and with the steps and the du'as and everything. Then you uncover your aura, because then you can't read your du'as now, you know. So you've read your du'as, you uncover your aura, you get into your shower, or you've got your bath. If you're running a bath or you're going to go into the shower, you go in such that you first go in and you step in the water with your right side. So the water drips on your right side first. Then you put the rest of your body in it, then it goes on your left side. Very difficult to do, most of us just go straight in. I'm giving you the petty little details which is for qurba. All of this is for qurba. You do it, you just get extra rewards for it, just because you're doing sunnah. Because we hardly now wash with the bucket and a tub, and we don't do that anymore. Well, if you're visiting Pakistan, maybe you do, I don't know, but there you are, you see. So it'd be nice to sometimes do one proper sunnah ghusl and one proper sunnah everything. So yeah, if then you say, okay, the sunnah was to wash the whole body 3 times with water, such that the water has touched it 3 times. Now in the shower, what's 3 times? Just stand in it for a very short duration, your 3 times is done. What if you're sitting in the tub, which is full of water? If you've immersed in the tub for a very short duration, your 3 times is done. You don't have to come out and come back in 2 times. You don't have to step in and out of the shower 3 times. Water is running, that's your 3 washes done. And that is what one of my teacher, Ustada, argues as well, that even when you're doing wudu, because the water is running from the tap, if you put your arm through running water, even once your 3 times is done, that stops the waste bit. You know what is disliked? Your once is your 3 times because of the running water. That's your 3 times done. So you don't have to, but I still do it. So, etiquettes of the hammam, we'll come back to that. How do we know about the hadith, about the ghusl? We know about the ghusl because Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas was the Sayyida Maimuna, one of our mothers, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, was the khala of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas. And Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas describes in detail, via Sayyida Maimuna, the hadith of how Rasulullah exactly did the ghusl. And I'm just going to literally read it out to you, if I can find it. I'll read it out to you just so that you know the exact sunnah. Yeah. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala an reported on the authority of Maimuna, his mother's sister, that she said, I placed water near the Messenger of Allah so that he could take a bath from sexual intercourse, in which he washed his hands twice or 3 times, and then put his hand in the basin and poured water over his private parts and washed them with his left hand. He then struck his hand against the earth and dropped it, and then performed a wudu, upon which he washed his whole body, after which he moved aside from that place and washed his feet. Just to sort of explain the end part, is that sometimes we are standing in, we stand in our showers, there's a drain there, there's no water collecting, water is going straight in the drain. But if you're standing in a place where water is collecting, you have to wash your feet once you come out. So if you're in the bath or something, you've just got in, when you come out of it, just wash your feet, that is the sunnah. But just so that you don't have dirty water, that's the etiquette of a ghusl. That's the etiquette of a ghusl. Remember, ghusl is ritual purification. You may have no impurity on your body. This is ritual purification. So, aura, all answered your question? Yeah? Okay, now we come to tayammum. Yes?
Can we talk about wudu, like, let's say it's constituted to you or whatever?
Say that again?
Can we speak while doing wudu?
It's not the etiquette. Okay, let's talk about speech just quickly. Just two things that have come to my mind. We as women, we talk a lot. Okay, it is in our, especially here in the Western culture, it is sometimes, when we go out and stuff, two girls will always go to the washrooms together. And one is in the cubicle and the other one is outside and going on. And in schools that is very, very common. They go to the cubicles together. We're in restaurants, girls will always go together. I see that a lot because that's the culture here. That you go to the washroom with your friends. Now, Rasulullah said in the hadith, when two people go to Baytul Khala together, they uncover their aura, not in front of each other, even if they have some, cubicle is separate. But when they speak to each other, this invokes the wrath of Allah. So Allah gets really, really angry. So if your aura is uncovered, you cannot speak. So that's the etiquette of Baytul Khala. Coming to your question, Mala. When you are doing wudu, it is against the etiquette of wudu to be speaking the speech of the word. Speech of the word is, you're alright, this and that, what are you doing this evening, what I'm doing this evening, that's speech of the word. But if you are constantly in dua, it doesn't have to be the masnoon ma'soor du'as that I have said, you can be saying anything, you are talking to your Lord, that's it. Say anything you want, pray for anything you are doing. Your sins are falling off anyway, but it's not going to invalidate your wudu. Don't get me wrong, we're not doing fiqh right now, we're doing the spiritual elements of it. So it's not going to invalidate your wudu, but it will just take away the spiritual reward that you will get for it. That's all. Okay? Yeah? So we're moving on to tayammum now. Tayammum is one of the khasais of this ummah. Khasais means a specification. And I will tell you a little bit about the story of tayammum, because it's a story of the rahim of Allah for this ummah because of the love of a husband for his wife. It's as simple as that. That the whole ummah has been blessed because of this one thing. I'm sure most of you know the story of tayammum. Sayyidah Aisha, they were on a journey and Sayyidah Aisha lost her necklace. And the whole, I'm sure everybody knows the story, but I just love telling this story. And the whole of the caravan was called to a halt. You cannot move on until the wife's necklace is found. This is the love. This is the love for a wife. We call it in Urdu naaz nakhre uthana, biwi ke naaz nakhre uthana, which means is to look after her little charms and her little delicacies. So she lost her necklace and she loved her necklace. So we've had a lot of necklace stories inside Aisha. So the whole party was brought to a halt. They read their, I think it was Maghrib and Isha, they had enough water for Isha, but they did not have enough water for Fajr. And Fajr was approaching and they couldn't travel, such that the Sahaba went to Sayyidina Abu Bakr and started saying to look, because of your daughter, now we're going to have trouble, we'll miss our Fajr, and we cannot move because of this necklace. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr went into Rasulullah camp and he was asleep in the lap of Sayyidah Aisha. And because Sayyidina Abu Bakr, they couldn't say, couldn't say something, he didn't want to wake Rasulullah up. So he started saying things because his daughter. He started saying his daughter, but just uttering it without sound, telling her off basically. That's a dad telling his daughter off. Such that Sayyidah Aisha tensed her body. She tensed her body, and Rasulullah felt, just because she tensed it, she didn't move. She was trying not to move, but she tensed her body. As she tensed her body, Rasulullah felt it. He woke up and sussed it all out what was going on, and at that very moment, the verse of tayammum was revealed. That is the sababun nuzul, to get Sayyidah Aisha out of trouble with her dad. And the whole ummah and the whole Sahaba then went to the Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, kissing his hands, congratulated him that how blessed is your family that it has taken the whole ummah out of such haraj. Because sand is everywhere. Look at that desert, it's everywhere. And it's not just sand, it is sa'idan tayyiban, which means pure earth substance. Slight difference now between Hanafi and Shafi fiqh. Now coming back to fiqh. So legally, let's go legally. Tayammum, lexically, the literal meaning of tayammum is from yamma. Yamma means for purpose and intention. Okay. Tayammum in fiqh means mashul wajh wal yadayn an sa'idin. The mass of your face and your arms with earth. That is the fiqh meaning. It was ordained so that nobody is barred from worship. You are in janaba, you are post, bleeding, or you are post the bleeding for nifas has finished, the postnatal bleeding has finished, and there is no water. Use earth, you're pure. This is what I'm saying. That look, you don't actually get pure with earth, do you? But here you do. So that nothing bars you from worship. Don't ever focus too much on what's stopping you from worshipping. Nothing stops you from worship. Okay. What is the intention? Why? Look, it's very important. Intention is part of the fard of tayammum. Why? The intention is nawaitu tayammuma li istibahati salati fardan lillahi ta'ala. Translation: I intend tayammum to establish salah which has been made fard for my Lord. Okay? The reason that you have to intend tayammum, an intention, is you are now going to use something that is not a purifier. Sand, stone, clay, earth, it is not a purifier, but it is your intention that makes it a purifier. Water is. That is why it is not fard to do an intention in tayammum. Now, how do you do tayammum? I bought, just so that I can show you ladies, physically. So these are just some stones in a tray. Let's show you. Rasulullah was asked by the Sahaba how to do tayammum. So when the verse was revealed, but they didn't know how to do it. So Rasulullah said, "At-tayammumu darbatan." Tayammum is 2 strikes. Darabatun lil wajh wa darabatun lil zira'aini ila al mirafiqaini. That tayammum is 2 strikes, a strike for your face and a strike for your zira. Zira is your arm. Al mirafiqaini is your elbows. Okay? So that's how Rasulullah described it. But then, as time went on, Sayyidina Imam Abu Hanifa was asked, "Can you show us please how to do tayammum?" So then Sayyidina Imam Abu Hanifa showed everybody how to do it. So tayammum is 2 strikes. You do intention. Nawaitu tayammuma li istibahati salati fardan lillahi ta'ala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. You take your hands. You put it on the stones or on the earth or whatever you have. I'll tell you what you can and cannot do with it later. But your hands are open. You move your hands backwards and forwards. Okay? So you're moving your hands backwards and forwards. Then you lift your hands. You either shake them like this or you tap them once. Your hands are still open. Then you close your hands and you wipe your face once. That's 1 fard done. You open your hands again. You move backwards and forwards on the stones. You tap it like this or you shake it like this. Depends on whether you have dust or stone or what you have in there. Yeah? You shake it like this. Now, left hand, 4 fingers. Right hand, 4 fingers. You start like this. Because I think I'm on YouTube, I'm not going to roll my sleeves up. So I'm just going to show you. You carry on the top. This hand on the top. You carry on. You come to your elbow. You then go under it. Now you've got the palm there. Okay? The palm on the base, such that when you finish, this thumb goes on the inside of this thumb. That's done. Then the other hand, I'm going to do it like this. You come back on yourself, down, and then the arm. Okay, what this is doing is just covering everything. Your hands have already been done. This part of your hands has already got the dust on it. Okay, that's your tayammum done. Done. Simple. 1 strike for the face, 2nd strike, 1 arm, 2nd arm, done. What can you do it with? Very common misconception, dust. Not for the Hanafi fiqh. Quick question. In the house, there's a lamp, whole lot of dust on it. This much dust on it. Nobody's done dusting in that house for ages. Can you do tayammum with that dust? Why? There are girls there. Come on. Why? It is not Saidan Tayyiban. What is household dust made out of? 90% human dead cells. You're doing tayammum with yourself. It's not Sayyid Tayyib. Pure earth is anything derived from earth. I also have a difference in opinion. This is my personal difference in opinion. You can't do it with walls. Why? Under the wall is the brick, but most of the British walls are made out of plasterboards. Number one, okay, you can say, oh, plaster is gypsum and gypsum is from earth. But what is on top of the plasterboard? Emulsion. Oil-based emulsions. Where is the Saidan Tayyiban? So a lot of people just go and say, oh, we do it with the walls because there's brick in the walls. If you give me a brick, yes, do it. Brick is, cooked clay, cooked earth, that's okay. With a piece of brick, you can do it. With stones, those are from my drive. I pick the clean ones. Stones, you can do it. Sand, you can do it. Soil, you can do it. You can do it with most things. You can do it with most things. But what you cannot do is with precious stones, metal, wood, things like you can't do it. But you will know. Anything that is made out of earth or derivatives of earth, gypsum, clay, limestone, all of that you can do tayammum with. When can you do tayammum? You've gone up on the mountainside, you've taken water with you, one bottle, you weren't very well prepared, yes? And on top of that moment, it's time for Maghrib now, yeah? You've got enough water, you either drink it, or you have only enough water now, or less than enough water to do the fard. Washing the face once, literally arm once, up to the ankle once, and just with wet hands, wipe the forehead. You don't have enough water for that, and whatever water you have, you need it for the journey down. You're okay to do it in tayammum. Okay, let's say similar situation, you don't have enough water and you're on the top of a cliff. There is ocean there, but you can't reach the ocean. From the side of a well, you are not physically able to take water out of the well. You can do tayammum. But you cannot do tayammum if you can buy water. You cannot do tayammum if water can be reached within a walking of 1 mile. 1 mile distance is what's written in the Fiqh books. It doesn't mean driving 1 mile, it means walking to the water for 1 mile. Really? In England, I don't think we'll ever have to do tayammum. We've got enough water. There's rain, there's puddles, there's ponds, there's been on enough hikes in Scotland to know that it's alright. But this is physical absence of water. The second thing is legal absence of water. What is legal absence of water? Now let's go back to the فَإِن كُنْتُم مَرْضَى وَعَلَى سَفَرٍ فَلَا تَجِدُوا الْمَاءَ. This is going back to the verse. So you are basically ill, and touching the water on the fard part of your limbs, your face, your arms up to the elbows, ankles, will harm you. Then you can do tayammum. If it is undue hurt, yes, madam.
Okay, so lots of questions. One is the tayammum. So if you've got a rock, again, some people say it has to be a certain size.
No, there's no size, nothing.
Does it have to be the size of the
Take
palm?
one of it. Take one of these. As long as you rub all your hand on it.
That's enough.
That's enough. There is no sizes, nothing. It is not that difficult.
Okay. Secondly, so hospitals. Okay. So either you're a cancer patient or you're ill. You're on your cancer last stage.
Last stages.
You can't physically get up, but there is water around.
That doesn't matter. Then you are in legal absence of water. Number one. Number two. If you have enough water brought to you on your bed, then you can literally just rub the water so that 2 drops fall off your fard limb and somebody can help you with that. In wudu, it is not nice. Rasulullah never asked for help for wudu, and somebody tried to help Rasulullah and he said, I don't want help for wudu. However, this is not a healthy person. If somebody can help him or her to do the wudu, well and good. If there is just staff around and no family member around and they still want to say their prayer, they can even pray without any tayammum or anything. They just have to pray. And tayammum is not very difficult. If their arms, they can't lift their arms to do that. We're assuming that what if they have catheters in there and they can't do this and this, just pray. pray without, there is no obligation of anything on them then. So religion is easy. We make it difficult by asking too many tahara questions.
So so summertime, you're out on a picnic.
Yeah.
You've got public bathrooms. Sometimes the bathrooms don't have water. You've got only a little bit in your water bottle. When you're doing the 4 colors, do you have to use water, clean water every time, or can you just wash your hands
wash your hand one time.
and then do massage?
You only have to do once,
Okay.
but 2 drops of water. If you don't have enough water for 2 drops of water to fall off, then you can just wipe. Okay? And if that water you want to keep for drinking, and there is no other water, hardly possible in this country. But yeah, we're painting a scenario which is not going to happen. If you've got a washroom, you've got some kind of water in there. You can go in, fill in your bottle, and come back out again. Remember, you're only doing it once. Okay, so now there are some people who have casts and stuff. Okay, so here we are going to join washing and wiping. Okay, so you wash what you can, and you wipe over the rest. Wiping is not this. Wiping is basically a symbolic thing. Symbolic wiping. Okay, that's symbolic. So you've got a cast, but you've got this much hand exposed. But if you wet this much hand, this bite of the cast will get wet, and that's not allowed. You wipe a lot. Just once, maybe 2, 3 symbolic. With 3 fingers spread apart. Okay? Same is that you have a wound. You put some ointment on it, and you're not supposed to wash it. So wash up to here, on the wound. So your fur is done, and this is on the fur, the limbs. You're not supposed to extend beyond the fur. So the fur limb is up to here, up to your ankle, and just your face. Everything else is sunnah. You can do your wudu just with 4 fur, remember that. So I'm giving you practical basics, so you don't ever think, "Mera wudu nahi hai," as we normally say in Urdu, sorry. I don't have wudu, I can't pray. You always have wudu. Okay. So tayammum technique understood, ladies?
You don't wash feet with tayammum. You don't
Tayammum?
with your feet.
No. We're going to come to the hoofs if we come in a minute. So what is a hoof? Oh, we are on hoofs. Yes, we're on hoofs. That's hoofs. Okay. We pass it around. What is a hoof? Traditionally, a hoof was a leather sock, either made of leather or juh. Juh is jute, or kirbas, very thick cotton. Three items. The Arabs used to wear it under their sandals. Their sandals, remember, were very simple. There used to be a sole, and then they used to tie the soles with 2 ties, front and back, and one sometimes in the back, to keep the just literally like a sole. It wasn't a complete shoe, their sandals. What was their complete shoe was this leather sock that they used to call the hoof. The leather sock has to be above the ankles. As long as it is above the ankles, covers the foot, stays on the leg unsupported. It is not tied on. Okay? Then you would, and also the condition was that you could walk up to 1 mile in it without it being ripping. Another condition was that it should not have a tear in it or a hole in it for more than 3 fingers. Most socks have tears in it, and of course, people weren't very rich, who had 1 pair of hoofs, would wear it, would have some tears in it. So as long as the rip in the hoof, in one hoof, is not more than 3 fingers. If there's a tear in this hoof and a tear in the right and the left hoof, and you join them and it becomes more than 3 fingers, doesn't matter. We're talking about 1 separate hoof. Modern now, today, what can we use? We can use any water-repellent sock, mostly socks which are sold as waterproof socks for hiking. I got this one made from, I think it's Dexshell. Yeah, breathable, waterproof, seamless socks. I use this, and I also use sealskins. I use sealskins a lot, very soft. Made out of cotton, waterproof. Waterproof is overstating the matter. The leather is not waterproof. Kirbas is not waterproof. Juh is not waterproof. If you soak it and leave it in water, water will seep through it at some point. The aim is that when you are wiping with wet fingers, the wetness of the fingers should not reach your skin. Okay? So you've got your hoofs on, and if you wipe it, the wetness should not reach your skin. Now, what is wiping of the hoof? When was it allowed? When can you do it? When can you not do it? Okay, the rulings now. This is something important, especially practicality for all of us now. When you have done wudu, you wear your hoofs. Okay, you wear these waterproof thick socks, hiking socks. The sock has to cover your ankle. It has to be worn post wudu. Then your clock starts. If you are a resident, if you are not traveling, you have a time limit of 24 hours after you have broken your wudu. Not from the time of wearing it, not from the time of your wudu. After, so let's say you've done your wudu, going to work, yeah, and you've worn your hoofs. Until 12 o'clock, you've actually not broken your wudu. You haven't done anything. You haven't passed it. You haven't gone to the toilet. You haven't done anything. You still good. But at 12 o'clock, you go to the toilet. Okay, so your time period starts at 12 o'clock. Okay, till the 12 o'clock next day. So this is Monday. Till 12 o'clock on Tuesday, you are allowed to wipe your hoof. That is for a resident. For a traveler, it is 3 days. So if they've done that Monday 8 o'clock but broken it at 12 o'clock on Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up till Thursday, 72 hours they can wipe their hoof. What do you mean by wiping the hoof? You still have to do all your wudu. Anything that breaks your wudu will break your wudu. So what you do is you complete the whole wudu, but when it comes to the feet, you take three fingers, you spread them. Rasulullah showed the Sahaba how to do that. You spread them and you literally do that. The hadith of the hoof has come with tawatur by 70 different companions, such that Sayyidina Hasan al-Basri said that it is the heart of the sunnah. It is one of the most beloved of sunnahs. Because the Sahaba were always traveling, they were always on ghazwat, they were always out and about, and it was not practical. I think we are very much similar now. We're always out and about. We're on the motorway, we're at work, we're here, we're in public washrooms, we're on a picnic on the beach. We cannot always put our feet in the sink and do that, one-legged twist as we have to do. We can't do that. And there's not always a shower available. Wear hoofs. Buy yourself hoofs. Don't miss your salah. That's the moral of the story. Don't miss your salah. You're out and about. Buy yourself some hoofs. These hoofs are here. There's a socks here. You can come and have a look at them. Yes, madam.
So we cannot do it on ordinary socks.
Hanafis can't. Because if this is an ordinary sock, if I wet my finger and I touch it like that, I will feel some wetness on my skin.
Let's say the
It's slightly thicker.
slightly
thicker. Yeah, but buy them to be extra safe. They're not expensive. Buy yourself some thick socks.
So how do you do it then?
Okay. So you have finished your wudu. You've done all of that. Yeah. You've done your both arms, head. Everything is done. Now right foot, 3 fingers. Start from the top up to the ankle once. Left, start up to the ankle once. It is not 3 wipes. It is not closed fingers. It is 3 open fingers. That's the sunnah way to do it. Okay, Rasulullah showed. So 3 fingers. Start from the top once and once. If you are using the proper sock, you have done it to the letter. I understand some people who have wounds on their feet, like my mom has a diabetic foot. I tell her, just whatever sock you wear, you're not even supposed to use a hoof or not, but she's supposed to wipe anyway, because she's got a diabetic foot. She's supposed to wipe. I'm talking about healthy individuals who are running around, walking around. Buy some hoops. Not difficult to get these days. Every second sock is a hook these days, to be honest, Those thicker ones, especially those winter toties that we have, the winter socks. Water repellent is the word here, okay, not waterproof. If you soak this or even a leather hoof in water for a long period of time, water will seep through it. It's skin, isn't it? Leather skin. So, let me go back. Of course.
So it has to be the socks, not the shoes.
Yes, not the shoes. You have to wipe the sock. If you're out and about, outside, you've got your wudu, you can pray in your shoes. So, if it is not a clean place, if it is earth, you pray on grass, you can pray with your shoes on. And that's actually a sunnah that was more practiced than praying bare feet on earth.
Because I asked, I've got horses, so quite often when it comes to Mars time, I'm out on a horse somewhere like in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's fine. And if there's a lot of horse down there and this and that, you can pray in your shoes, but they have to be practical shoes. You should be able to pray. If they're trainers, that's okay. Yeah? But if it's a clean place and you can take your shoes off and you've got a sajjada with you, then of course you'll take the shoes off and pray on the sajjada without shoes. But if you've got no sajjada, you've got nothing, you can pray in your shoes. Okay? And that's one of the sunnahs. Yeah, I was just going to cover that. So what breaks the wiping? What breaks the wiping? So you are within your 24 hours, you've broken your wudu and it's 24 hours haven't gone by, but accidentally you forgot and you took one of the sock off, wiping's over. You have to wash both feet now. You have to take the other sock off as well, wash both feet. If by accident you step in a puddle this much that your whole leg's gone in and inside of your foot where the sock is got wet. So if you got wetness on inside of your hoof, that's nullified your wiping. You've got to take both socks off, wash your feet again, and then put your socks on, and then your time starts from that. So this is what's nullifying the wiping. What doesn't, if one is gone, you have to take the other one off. However, if both of them are there, and one of them has got wet, so does that answer your question, or did you want something more?
So it was with the shoes. So if you're out and about, you have to still take the shoe off.
The shoe off, of course,
To
do the wiping.
Wipe over the shoe.
No, you can't wipe over the shoe. You can't wipe over the shoes because our shoes are not our hoofs. You have to wipe over the sock. Very difficult, for which I have very luckily found a leather boot which has a zip on the front. So very difficult to find. Echo did it once. So I've got these brown leather boots where the zip is literally like here. So you open it, you literally do that, and then you close the zip, especially when you're in a, in a washroom on the motorway and stuff like that. So these practicalities we have to think of. You have to think of these practicalities. What breaks? Did I discuss what breaks tayammum? Everything that breaks, sorry, I didn't discuss this point. Everything, we're back to tayammum now, yeah? Everything that breaks your wudu will break your tayammum. Everything, We didn't do the fiqh of wudu anyway, so I didn't discuss that with you, but yes. Also what breaks tayammum is if you see water. So you've done tayammum. If you haven't prayed, or in your middle of your prayer and you see water, your tayammum breaks. You have to stop, do your wudu with the water and then start again. However, if you have finished your salah and your walkies out and about, and after a little while, before you have exerted all effort to find water and you couldn't, and now you find it, you don't have to repeat that salah. So that was just one technical point. Wiping, wudu, 6 o'clock. Okay, there is some etiquettes of attending the hammam, but to be honest, next time anybody is going to Istanbul and going to attend the hammam, come and ask me. Okay? Or going to Aspire and come and ask me. But now, let's ask questions, please. Yes, go on.
I'm ready. In every salah, do you have to do tayammum once?
No, if you haven't broken your tayammum,
Yeah, no?
no. One tayammum with the niyyah of fard. Okay, so just let me actually, now that I have time, it's only 9 o'clock. We've got good time for questions. So, just to elaborate, tayammum is exactly a replacement for wudu, like for like. If you pass wind, you go to the toilet for anything, your tayammum breaks. Yes? You also, when you're doing your tayammum, you have to do the niyyah for a fard. You cannot do tayammum and say, oh, I want to go and do some charity work, or I want to recite the Quran. You have to do the intention of touching the Quran, because remember, for recitation without touching, wudu is not fard. Wudu is fard for touching the Quran. Wudu is also fard for salah. So always be safe and do intention for a fard, so that your wudu your tayammum covers everything. Okay, because tayammum is very niyyah based. So that's one. So yeah, one tayammum. Pray 5 prayers with it if you manage to keep your tayammum, same as you manage to keep your wudu. It carries on. There's no problem there. Next week, I am going to do the fiqh of menstruation. In that lesson, will be a lot of technicalities. I'll probably put a live stream back. Okay. Just because we will have to discuss what is udhr. Udhr means if somebody's got istihada, constant bleeding, or constant incontinence, or other issues like that, when do they have to repeat the wudu for every salah? That's a different question. So sometimes we confuse tayammum and wiping with that, but we're going to discuss that next time. Any other questions?
I just missed this part of Bayan.
How do you do, like you do the wudu, and how long does it stay? I can get that.
For the hoofs.
Yeah.
For the hoofs. So, just repeating that. When you have done wudu, you wear your hoofs post wudu. So, you have washed your feet. Your hoofs are on. They have covered your ankles and they haven't been tied with anything. So, like a thick sock. Yeah. You then break. Let's say you have done it at 8 o'clock in the morning. You break your wudu at 12 o'clock. Your hoof wiping is valid all the way until 24 hours from there. So next day. However, let's say at 12 o'clock you've broken your wudu. You will still have to redo your wudu. So you go into the bathroom. You do your hands, your mouth, your nose, your head, your arms. But when it comes to the feet, you just wipe your feet. So the only thing it's replacing is washing the feet. You replace it with the wiping of the feet. That's all that
It's good
replaces
to
it.
use this. Because
Of course.
sunnah.
Of course, it is sunnah. It's the heart of the sunnah to wipe the hoofs. And it is narrated by, let me give you actually. Yeah, Sayyidina Ibn Khuzaymah and Sayyidina Ibn Habban, they narrate that Rasul permitted wiping over the hoofs for a traveler for 3 days and 3 nights and for a resident for 1 day and 1 night. And Sayyidina Hasan al-Basri says that over 70 companions narrated it to me, and it is the heart of the sunnah. So, subhanallah, you know. Okay, any questions? Yes, madam?
The provision is that you don't remove your hooves.
Oh, yes.
So that's very important.
Very important. If by
Because for 3
accident,
days, nobody doesn't remove their socks.
yeah, so if you, I know,
Yeah.
you can't remove your sock.
Exactly.
Once it's removed,
Yeah.
done.
So that's very important.
Very
because it
important.
can be misunderstood.
Yes. So let's reiterate what Hasina has so kindly brought to attention. Don't remove the sock. But 3 days, we'd rather wash our feet, wouldn't we? This day and age. For us, it's more practical.
Airport has wudu facilities.
Exactly. But let's say we are on the motorway and we're going from Birmingham to London, and it is Zohar in the meantime. We have to use the wudu. Yeah, that's sort of practical element. It's for little these things like that. Girls at school, you know, if they don't have a wudu facility at school, girls at school, it comes in handy. Well, if they are praying at school,
We did
you know.
university work, I guess.
Yeah, you know. Yes.
Can we do it if we are staying home and we wear
Yes,
socks
you're
and
feeling
we-
very lazy this morning. That's all. No problem.
We
Do
know
your
how to
wudu
do
for
it.
Fajr. Wear your hoofs. If it's summer, my God, you'll be hot. But if it's winter, wear your sock and all the way till Isha. Fine.
You
Keep
said for travelers it's 3 days.
3 days and
But
3
for
nights.
the-
For resident, it is 24 hours or 72 hours. 1 day and 1 night for the resident and 3 days and 3 nights for the traveler. There were 2 hands that went up on that side. Yes, my love. I'll come back to you, my love.
I have 2 questions. So the first one is when we're wearing the hoofs, and if someone falls asleep, does that break the wiping period? 'Cause
Wudu, anything that breaks the wudu will break the wiping. So you just have to redo your wudu, and when you're redoing your wudu, when you come to your feet, you're doing 2 wipes. That's all.
Okay,
Yeah.
the second question is because I'm a schoolgirl, and when we're changing for our physical education, a lot of the girls are Arshad. Does that have a
Can't do anything. Next time when you're doing wudu, say, oh Allah, whatever transgressions my eyes have committed, let it fall off. Trust me, my love, there's no getting out of it. There is no getting out of aura being uncovered in this day and age. No matter where you live, no matter which country you live in. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yes. Sorry, that sister asked, the green head scout, yes.
When you wash your face, should your makeup come off?
Ooh, very heavy question.
My question was
today.
exactly the same, especially for younger girls.
Yes.
Because they wear a lot of makeup, and it's a time that they go to a function or party and or work, yes, and
Water has to reach the skin. And these foundations, oh my God, they're like paint out there.
foundation.
They're not just paint, they're 2 skins.
and the liner and the mascara. So
Okay, if the mascara runs with water, that's okay. If the liner runs with water, if you wash your face and you see a bit of running, okay. What is not okay is these waterproof foundations.
No, but
you know that second skin that we get.
my question was, they can't take their makeup off, obviously, because they're in the middle of some meeting, some function, whatever it is. It's prayer time.
I know.
There is no, they don't have the wudu. What is the alternative around it?
Very difficult question. I don't want to answer that. There is no alternative. My love, there's no alternative unless they keep their wudu. So they do their wudu before the makeup, and until their next salah, and until they can get home to take their makeup off and do the next wudu, they keep their wudu, which means drink very little water. Or they are not drinking tea. That's one thing, because the tea will make you go to the loo. No, there is no alternative. Not unless it is a non-waterproof makeup. Look, the foundation is different. We all know, we are masters in makeup. Okay, we all know what foundations are and how much thickness there is and what waterproof level there is. We all know. Such that there has been so much demand for water-soluble nail polish as well. Even that's out in the market as well. So, yeah, we know the answers to these questions. Honestly, if we really ask ourselves, we know. Yes, Manoj. No, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Like nail varnish and acrylics, that's a no.
That's a no, my lovely. So sorry. Huh? Sorry, yes.
So that's basically it. So even waterproof mascara and things like that, if you are wearing that and you do wudu, your water is not getting, so your wudu would be invalid.
Okay, this is going into deep fiqh, but there are two positions on that because I argued my life for women on this one. Because we love our mascara. So I ate Dr. Asim's head, literally head off, bless him. And he did his best. So we then did some research on this, and the sha'r of the eye was then in one position, the two positions, okay? The common and the fatwa position in the Hanafi madhab, no wudu. Waterproof mascara, no wudu. Another position, a very shah's position, which you want to cling to, then you can, is that the sha'r of the eyelids, only the sha'r was not considered skin of the face. So your wudu is okay. However, is it a thing that it will not touch your lids? So if you have guaranteed that there is not a drop of that waterproof mascara on the lid part of your eye, and it is only stayed on the hair part, maybe some little position can help you, but nah, not really. Yes?
You know, you were saying about you can just lift them online.
Shafi position.
What do you do then about your ears?
Not fard of wudu.
Okay.
Ear is not fard of wudu. This is, of course, in a position where you cannot take your headscarf off.
Because at work I only have 20 minutes break.
Yeah.
So
you don't have a washroom?
Walk to the prayer room, done what it, done prayer, and walk back down again.
Do your best, my love. Your Lord is there to accept it. However, if you can keep your headscarf, do the proper sunnah, rubarat means 1/4 of your head, do your ears, do the back of the neck, that's the sunnah. You cannot do a sunnah wudu, don't miss your prayer.
Yeah.
Do your fard and pray. Prayer is more important. Your job is to get to the prayer. That's your job. Your job is to get to the prayer in whatever way you practically can, the best of your ability. You know. Okay. Okay, ladies. Yes. I know, the special Muslim friendly nail varnish. They have done experiments and they have researched it and they say, oh, molecules of water do get in. And you're desperate to wear nail polish, and I'll say wear it because what's the alternative? But really, personally, I never wear a nail varnish. I don't advise anybody who asks me, but it's difficult to do that. You know, we're in dignified places. All our colleagues are wearing it. We're at work. You know, everybody has very pretty hands, and there we are with nail bitten hands and stuff. I know that. So really bad hands. So that you either please your Lord or you please everybody else. Yeah, if you're going to somewhere, do your wudu, wear your waterproof one, so in case you have to wash it, you have the choice. But try to keep your wudu. Very hard, but try to keep your wudu. Especially as we age, our blood has become a little bit unfriendly. It's just difficult. Okay, please. Anything else? No? Let's just quickly do a dua. And I'm going to just translate this dua. Allahumma faqihna fid deen. Oh Allah, give me and us the understanding of religion. Wa allimna ta'wil. And give us the deeper understanding, the ta'wil. Ta'wil is of your book, of the Quran. Wa ja'alna, and make us min khayrati, from the best ummati, the ummah of Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammad, of Rasulullah. So basically, let's pray that Allah not only makes us understand the religion as He sent down on Rasulullah, but let us act upon it with in a way that pleases Allah and of course that pleases Rasulullah as well. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.